Society of Crime.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. Happy almost Friday. I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime. How's everybody doing today? Good? Good. Come on in. Hit that like button. If you're in here or you're leaving, hit it on your way in or your way out. Thank you. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to all notifications. You guys, I think you're really gonna enjoy today's episode. Today, it's just get out all the information that I can to y'all in the next, let's say, hour and 30 minutes. All right. Hopefully, we don't have any more of this weird camera thing. But back in the house, what's up? And I want Lady for Justice, how you doing? Cool and Chris, thank you for the gifted membership. If you received that membership, please thank Cool and Chris. All right, guys, we have 111, 114. Everybody's rolling in the house. Say a prayer that Nancy Guthrie is brought home. Her body is recovered at some point. We're 103 days out, and I don't think this is anything but a recovery. But I ask you, what did Annie and Tommaso do in 51 minutes before calling 911? You might say, well, that changed, Jay. That's not happened. That's different. The timeline's not the same because it's changed. Well, guys, Nanos will still remain in the office as a sheriff, and you'll see his records, you'll see the bad things, you'll see the stuff that he's hidden from FBI. As a matter of fact, guys, he gets angry at his workers for sharing information with the FBI. And of course, he doesn't share stuff with the public. As we know, we don't want to mess it up. But guys, today we're going to talk about quickly, we're going to get into the Nano situation and then talk about the 51 minutes of calling, as well as All in the Family, the whole thing that I put up for today, talking about the family. It could be someone in the family. Now, we've been looking at that. Obviously, we've been digging pretty deep with in the family situation, meaning who benefits the most, etc., etc. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to read you a quick portion of an article that goes on to say, you know, the person that cleared Annie and Tommaso and everybody in the family, right, so to speak, anybody that was cleared was not officially cleared. And the man that we're looking at is allegedly a liar and a fraudster, and he's committed perjury. They're keeping him, but they're still going to pursue the perjury charges. And you'll see what I mean when we get there if you hadn't already discovered it. All right. Now the motive hasn't been disclosed ever, but in talks with Dr. Ann Burgess, she speculates that because Nancy is a news anchor, right? We have access. The world has access. It may be connected to her, and it may be connected to the family. She says, well, first you want to ask who's suffering the most, who's hurt the most. And in this case, it doesn't have to be the mother. It could be someone in the family. As to why, this happened or as to who did this. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be Annie and Tommaso or a family member, guys. So come on in. Let me say hello to everybody and then we'll get rolling. Just because I have a baby guilty birthday party thing tonight. Uber. I'm going to be the Uber driver. So we're going to take off about 6 o'clock. And yeah, you know me. I do YouTube. I run a mechanical engineering office. I do tattoos. And I'm an Uber driver. Not really. I'm only baby guilty's Uber driver. All right, guys. Hello, and thank you guys for being here today. Krista, good to see you. Let's get into it, guys. So far, what we have is nothing more than still this. But there is some more information out there that I think is going to pique your interest. All right, so let's get into all that. And then that way, I'll have time to get all the information to you. And then we can go back around if we need to and do some discussions. All right, right all out of the gate, Pima County Board of Supervisors decides to keep Sheriff Nanos. And I want you to hear this. We've got this and another clip, and then if that clip that we're going to go into is beautiful, because as we see Nanos say one thing, we get to look at another thing where Nanos is angry that people gave information to the FBI. So in one breath, he lies like, I mean, he doesn't even know how not to lie. He lies to everybody. And in the next breath, he does this. Guys, this was just updated yesterday afternoon. All right. And as far as him not being kicked out, well, that happened, I believe, yesterday, a day ago.
Deciding tonight whether to take any action against Sheriff Chris Nanos, asking him questions about his past and how his department is run. Nanos is also leading the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, who's now been missing for more than 100 days.
12 News journalist Maria Stobbs has the latest from Tucson.
The Pima County Board of Supervisors voted not to remove Sheriff Nanos from office, but to instead refer any allegations of possible perjury to the Attorney General. This all comes after a state law allowed the board to require the sheriff to answer questions under oath. The sheriff's attorneys submitted a written
high standards.
Oh, no.
So I choose oral.
Sorry, guys. This is not YouTube, and it just decided to play a video.
His work history, how he has disciplined employees, the department's budget, and interactions with federal immigration and
This is so crazy because I found a clip from 10 years ago. I shit you not. And Sheriff Nanos is out there preaching that people need to cut their budgets. He's mad because they need to cut their budgets. Guys, he also talks about cutting down the crime. And if you guys have been watching the Nancy Guthrie case, crime has risen by 15% since this clown has been in office. He promised something else, guys, and we can't even get a straight answer. Yesterday, I was watching coverage on the Nancy Guthrie case where people were saying that this guy might be the porch. This one guy might be the porch kidnapper. Now, I looked into it, guys, and I don't know if you guys saw my post, but he absolutely not only doesn't fit the description of the porch guy, he's like 160 pounds, 5'6", but he's wanted in the homicide of a male. All right, this is a clown show. I mean, it's all just a clown show. Nothing about this. I couldn't even believe. I knew that was going to happen. I did see that coming. I guess I could believe it. I saw it coming when I saw that man's face, and they didn't go into Pima County. Did not go into detail about a possible person of interest that's being looked at. Okay, all of a sudden, everybody just went for, is this the door? Is this the video camera guy? No, guys, no. And I found the article and I posted it on my community page to show you that that is not it. All right, that is not it. It doesn't match. And there's nothing connected to the crime. Yeah, Pima County just seems like a permanent clown show and rising crime daily. All right, let's finish this so we can get to it, because I mean, this is just a joke at this point.
Enforcement. Part of the controversy centers on whether the sheriff quit his job in Texas or resigned to avoid being fired. And there's concern over sworn testimony given by Nanos last year, where he said he had never been suspended as a law enforcement officer, even though records from his time with the El Paso Police Department show that he was suspended. The sheriff's attorney says Nanos did not understand the question and thought it only applied to his service in Arizona. The board weighed their options and, based on legal advice, couldn't move forward with removal, but Supervisor Matt Hines says they still did what they believe will hold Nanos accountable.
Accountability has to apply to all of us in elected roles, and especially to those of us who are elected leaders in law enforcement. And while the board couldn't take some actions based on our legal...
Now, this guy is one of the biggest advocates to get him out, in my opinion, and rightfully so. So now they're going to pursue perjury, but not through them. I mean, I can't even understand what's happening because, like I said, I'm going to show you in one breath, Sheriff Nanos lies to all of us, and the next, he lies to us again. Or which one is the lie? How do we find out which one he's lying about?
Advice, I think taking the action that we did is a step toward accountability and ensuring that people of Pima County that are those in law enforcement as well are going to be held accountable under the law.
The board also discussed a strong distrust in the sheriff, and they're calling on him to be the leader he needs to be. In a statement, Nanos' attorney told 12 News, quote, "The sheriff heard the words of the supervisors tonight and looks forward to continuing his work to promote trust and public confidence in the sheriff's department." His attorney also said Nanos has been truthful and has nothing to hide, but the matter of alleged perjury is now in the hands of the attorney general. In Tucson,
all right, so now we know it's in the hands of the attorney general, guys, and they're going to take a look at this information. I'm going to quickly show you. I've already gone over this before, but this is the El Paso Police Department's records, and it shows how Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, his 6-year career with the department ended way back in 1982, and a major part of why the county board of supervisors referred him to attorney general's office last night for investigation. Guys, I knew you'd want to know further. He's accused of lying under oath in connection with a lawsuit from the president of the local deputies union. Now, the transcripts below show that he said he was never suspended during his law enforcement career, and in a letter to the county board, in a 24-page response, his lawyer wrote that he had resigned from El Paso in lieu of the discipline over a 3-day suspension. But they're not taking that as an answer, so they're saying, send it over to the attorney generals. We'll see if he perjured himself. We can see it right here. We can see it right here. And I went over other documents extensively. It's all right there. He did several things. One being beat a suspect that was handcuffed almost to death while being handcuffed. Now, this case is definitely not cold. And I'll tell you why, because they do have information that FBI is working on, in my opinion. I mean, it does seem cold because we're getting stuff like this. When we get shit like this, it's a clown show. 22-year-old Tucson man arrested in connection with the murder case. Nobody had information on what murder case. Now, this was yesterday. It came out, and everywhere did I see this guy's face. Is this the new porch guy? I'm like, this has got to be ridiculous, and I'm kind of glad I wasn't covering it. Now, I waited, and I kept my notifications on to make sure that I saw what happened in this picture and what the hell's going on. And in fact, the article was almost just this, but then they updated it, and when it got updated 3 hours ago, it clearly says that this 22-year-old man wanted in connection with the February homicide has been arrested by Pima County Sheriff's Department or detectives. Nicholas Allen Coleman was taken into custody yesterday by detectives with a fugitive investigation unit. According to Pima County Sheriff's Department, he was apprehended without incident, guys, but he's charged with first-degree murder and possession of drug paraphernalia And the homicide occurred in early February, and it resulted in the death of an adult male. He's being held on $250,000 bond. His preliminary hearing is May 26th. And guys, it has nothing to do with the Nancy Guthrie case. Not only that, he doesn't even match the description. All right. It says he's 5'6", 160 pounds. I could see how we get all excited about any bit of information at this point. But guys, it's just simply not there. It's simply not there. All right. And now I'm going to hop into real quick. I just want to show you this before it goes away. Some YouTuber was out there filming this at Tommaso's house, and of course he's getting sick of people, so he's like, get out of here, dude.
Filming the road. I'll leave. Huh? I will.
Come on, guys, hit that like button.
That was Tommaso. Holy shit, that's the first time I've seen Tommaso and talk. Just
all right, you could see him out there. You guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. I know I'm going faster today because I want to get the episode to you, but if you could do me a favor, hit the like button. If you have the means to help with the goal, please do. Even though it says the $5 whatever, you can do whatever you want, or you can do a membership, gift a membership, get a membership. It all helps. All right. I'm not saying it's an inside job, but I'm saying it's an outside. I'm not saying it's an inside job, but I'm not saying it's an outside job. Well, I believe 100% it's an inside job, and she was targeted. And not only that, staged. Very, very staged. All right. So let's hop in straight into Pima County refers Sheriff Matters to AG, and then we're going to listen to him. So then you could listen to him, Nanos, and then you could listen to him lie. All right. There's my face all big. All right. Let's check this out real quick. And right after this, I'm going to tell you about him being angry for sharing with FBI. Now, this was 101 days. This was 2 days ago. He says the cold case is not considered. Do we believe him? No, not really. But listen.
To get this case resolved. And I think every day they get closer.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos refers not just to his detectives working this investigation, but the agents at the FBI as well.
Day one, the FBI was involved in this case, and they continue to be involved in this case every single day.
Nanos tells me they're also...
Now, guys, he's just telling you what you want to hear. He's trying to tell me what I want to hear. He's telling this newscaster what they want to hear. The moment he walks away, he does a different thing, and I'll show you. Perfect timing. I just love the sequencing of events and how they unfold sometimes.
Receiving help from DPS and a handful of labs across the country.
We continue to work with our labs, whether it's on the digital end or the biological end, DNA.
When it comes to DNA, Nanos tells me the labs are having to separate all of the different DNA that was found inside Guthrie's house and then work to identify who it belongs to, and that takes time.
It moves at a snail's pace, I guess, for some, but for my investigative team and for me, we look at this as, no, this is doing exactly what we need it to do.
Because they want to ensure they're doing it.
It's doing exactly what we needed to do, guys. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. What's up, Remy? Good to see you. K-Bear, I'm just coming in. Love this channel. Thank you so much for keeping us updated on most of the crimes. There's so many, it's hard to keep up with. Thank you so much for everything you do. Well, welcome, and thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I will definitely be getting in new cases next week. I'll try to tomorrow, but everybody's been really busy this week. And that, when I say that, I mean like everybody that helps me has been really busy as well as me. And so it's just not, it's hard to pull a brand new case out, right? When you're doing stuff all day long, it's easier to do the updates, especially when there's updates like this.
Right. Not only to prevent arresting the wrong person, but to ensure they are able to properly prosecute whoever was involved in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
I believe at some point in time, we will make an arrest on this case. And whoever that individual is, that individual will have a right to a fair impartial trial.
Nanos tells me they'll also be able to take DNA found, use it to figure out information about the individual, and then hopefully connect that to the countless digital evidence they've collected and cataloged.
He's so full of shit, in my opinion. Just saying. All right, we're almost done with that, but I lead this to lead into the next situation. Thank you, Cool and Chris, Foxy and Jens and Gypsy. We got a bolo. All right, Nanos is Barney Fife from the Andy Griffith Show. Yeah, we call him Barney Fife as well. I just thought since this episode is Nanos will remain a sheriff as we talk about what happened to the 51 minutes before calling 911 and updates in the Nancy Guthrie case, I figured we would state his name just for a little bit. All right, nobody's buying it, right?
And that's why Nanos told me he absolutely does not see this case as cold.
There's way too much work to be that is ongoing with some of the physical evidence we have, and we're not going to give up on it just because it's been 100 days.
When I asked Nanos if there was information they were withholding from the public.
Yes, absolutely there are, but it's not done because we got to keep it secret. It's done because we got to protect our case.
And while PTSD and the FBI,
they got to protect their case all while staying under budget. So let's stay under budget and send it to my own personal office so it could be analyzed. Maybe he gets kickbacks for it. Maybe he just really didn't want to share with the FBI, which we're coming to next.
Have received tens of thousands of tips. Both agencies urge you to call if you see, heard, or remember anything.
We need you to call us. We know somebody out there knows what happened here.
This guy's a joke.
They are working hard to get this.
You're a joke and you're a liar, and now you're going to be looked at by Arizona for perjury charges. All right, right after that, right, May 13th, Pima County official tells us that Nanos was angry that she gave FBI information in the Guthrie case. Now, of course, she's not going to say what information they gave, but what in the hell is going on here? We're trying to solve a case that we think is cold. We're all on the side of this is cold, and then he pops on and says this case is not cold. But then we get this lady coming out saying he was so angry for sharing information with the FBI. What? How is that even possible? What's up, Flojo? Good to see you. Nana Rocks. Come on in, hit that like button, guys. Get yourself a membership, gift a membership, or help with the goal. I'm going to read this real quick. So, listen, what he just said is, oh, yeah, we're working with the FBI. We're getting this done. It's coming. A Pima County official said that Chris Nanos scolded her for providing information to the FBI. He said because it created new leads for his department that they would have to pursue in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Now, did you just hear the last clip I played where he says he wants all tips called in so he can pursue new leads? Well, guys, this is the opposite of what he just said that came out yesterday, and this came out in the same day. You hear what I just said? Pima County official said Sheriff Nanos scolded her for providing information to the FBI because it created new leads for his department to pursue in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Why would you be angry about that? Didn't you just say you want more leads? Pima County Assessor Suzanne Drelby said Nanos seemed stressed and frustrated when she told him that her office had complied with a request for information from the FBI. Now, the tone of the calls was unusual, Drewby said, because she typically had pleasant and cordial interactions with Nanos. We're sensitive to the fact that the sheriff's under a lot of stress with all of this, but yes, there was a little bit of a negative interaction, Drewby said. It was inferred that we are creating a lot of additional work for the sheriff's department due to us providing the information to the FBI, and then them having the responsibility to follow up on all the leads that are provided. Does anyone see anything wrong with this at all? Raise your hand if you see anything wrong with this. And did you not just hear in the last clip that he said he welcomes all calls and leads and he wants them so he can solve the case? What? I can't even comprehend this. I'm just glad that I was able to put two clips together that showed that he's just a straight up liar. All right. That's all. That's a lie. You just said the opposite, sir. Now, news of the February phone calls came as the search for Guthrie stretched into the 100-day. The FBI has also ramped up pressure, and this is good. The FBI is ramping up pressure on Democratic sheriff over his handling of the unsolved case. Now, guys, this just came out yesterday. This is not something old. This is all playing out right now. As we know, Guthrie, 84 years old, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, from the host or co-host of the Today Show. Guys, she's been missing since February 1st. Now, it says here, I felt like there was an institution that I had done something wrong by cooperating with FBI, Drewby said. Now, at the particular moment, I felt like I was put in a position where I almost should apologize, where I know definitely that was not something I should be doing. You mean sharing leads and information with the FBI to solve the Nancy Guthrie case? Since Guthrie was last seen more than 3 months ago, the search for the missing woman has turned the Catalina Foothill neighborhood upside down, drawing national media attention to it, right? And now that that's happening, it's also drawing attention to the fact that Nanos is very incompetent. And I don't know how many other things, but I have so many things to get to today. Let's hop into what Annie and Tommaso did in that 51 minutes and why it keeps changing. Hashtag adios, Nanos. Come on in, guys. The family has not been cleared, United States. Nobody's been cleared. And I would love for them to grieve, but we also need to bring Nancy home. Now, nobody's messing with them. I'm not saying go to their house or do any of that, but I am having a discussion about why the family's staying quiet and who has the most to gain. I'm not going to stop talking about it because somebody says leave the family alone. I'm not bothering the family at all. It's a topic of discussion. Nobody's been cleared, and it's very weird when someone comes in and says leave the family alone. What are we doing to the family? Nobody's cleared. Nobody's doing anything to the family, and if they are, please don't do anything to the family. All right, even if they're not cleared. No, nobody's cleared at all whatsoever. No one, no how, no way. Not even Sheriff Nanos has been cleared at this point. Let's talk about it.
I'd like to propose an exercise in the comment section that should prove very fruitful in using simple logic based on this simple fact.
Yes,
so
please.
When
Logic.
there is something we know should exist in an investigation and the authorities just have not made it public for whatever reason, it is something they believe is very important to hold close to their vest to protect the integrity of the case, to not.
And again, nothing's off the table. I just don't want anyone to think that like we're trying to mess with the family. I don't want Savannah to be feeling bad about what we're streaming. I don't want her trying to say we should sue guilty of crime and all the people that are saying this. We're simply just we're having discussions and keeping the case not cold. And really, we just talked about how incompetent Chris Nanos was, and we caught him in a bold-faced lie. All right. And I would like to elaborate on that if I didn't have to be an Uber for baby guilty today. All right. So I'm just trying to get into this discussion, give you what I got. You guys give me what you got, and let's get moving. We got 350 people in chat. The boss bitch loves me some Monk. Me too. What's up, No Shoot? How you doing, Deborah? Me, because Nanos is an idiot, and I said it. It doesn't make it true. Yeah, you can't clear someone. Nobody's cleared, and it makes him look bad, the fact that not only they didn't drop him out, but he's lying to everybody's face, and we're still keeping him in there. And no worries. I was just using that as an example. If I said something to you, United States Dale, I'm just saying that they're not cleared. I just want to make that apparent. But no, I don't want anyone going after the family. All right. The Jews should be the ones to leave yeah, exactly. They should not be at their houses. They should not be doing any of that. If anyone should be at anyone's houses, it should be with a search warrant. All right. But let's have this discussion because the monk is genius. He's an absolute genius, in my opinion. The way his mind works, I have one of the thoughts, but he elaborates on these thoughts. And I'm like, you go, man.
Compromise any leads or evidence. And I'd like to present to you some of the things I find intriguing that they left out we can ponder on. You know, what?
I didn't even see that. Prayers to you, Bree. I hope that you're okay. The best thing is that you're okay, I hope, because you're here. Totaled trucks could be replaced. Smoking knows that, right? Smoking, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. It's been a minute. Hello.
Exactly could or should that mean? Now, I'm only going to touch on a few of these things because there's a lot of these things.
I'm going to gift you guys
and the challenge for you guys is to touch on the ones that make you scratch your head and why they don't just.
Now, listen, guys, I'm going to just only say this once. Tomorrow's Friday. You guys know how much I love Friday. All right. But I did get a stack and I got like a bigger stack over there of books. So yes, Lady for Justice and the other person that won a book, I will be getting them to you. But in order to be giving these things out, we need to help with the goal. One of these books is $20 and to ship it costs $15 because I use FedEx. All right. So I just really want to put it out there for the next hour and a half. Supporting the channel doesn't go into my pocket. It goes back to the channel and then it goes back to giveaways, Crime Con and things like that. So I'll say that once and leave it alone. You guys can help or not. Friday, hopefully we'll get enough to do some giveaways. Thank you, Cool and Chris. I appreciate that. Let's get to it. My guy smoking. Yeah, breather's always good. I just got the question yesterday, and I won't say who said it, but somebody texted me and said, Jay, you do crime every day. Do you ever get does your head and your mind feel like, what's the point in this? That humanity's already failed. Why should we, you know what I mean? Like on the dark side. And I said, no, this actually fuels me to do better as a person and to make sure I embrace the ones that I love and to meet the ones that I'm going to love and embrace them, because I've got to meet so many of you. Well, not meet, we haven't met, but we're the little Guilty of Crime crew that loves on each other, says prayers, and wants to help each other out as we go along. Inquisitive P, hello, my friend. Thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. And Leanne, thank you for becoming a member. All right. So that's the thing. Bottom line is I wouldn't have met you, any of you, especially the people that I've been working on cases with and getting progress in them. Look at the Eve Rogers case. It took us 1 day to get that YouTube channel down, that fraudulent pedophile YouTube channel. 1 day it took us to get down. It took one of you people out there to email me. It took me 1 day to put it together, and it took 1 day to get that channel gone. So just saying, guys, just saying, this is what we do here, and it's what we're going to bring more of. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yes, there's no other way to be, right? Nobody wants to guess. You guys can't read my mind.
Tell us. I'm just going to tell you the first glaring thing that happened early on in the case, and that would be the absence of the families, which we believe to be Annie, the 911 call to police, right? The initial one. The same reason holds true.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know I just saw Patricia in the house, Patricia NY. Big hugs to you. Huge prayer. It's up to you if you want to say anything about anything, Miss Patricia. Let me know. I was meaning to text you. I'm still in the emails. Crime Con is in 2 weeks, Patricia. Let me know what's up. Now, I know you might not be able to make it, or you're probably not. I'm sending mad prayers, and so is the chat. Let me know. Let me know what we're doing I'll figure it out either way. We're going to CrimeCon. We're ready to go. We've got the RV out front. We're getting ready to pack it, and we're going to drive to Las Vegas on May 27th. All right. So we're ready. We're in. Let me know what's up with you. Big hugs, Patricia, and prayers to you. All right. That's it. I got to get to back. I got baby guilty in a bit, but let's go.
With a 911 call in an ongoing investigation. Okay. They're not going to release.
Let me pull this back again just for a second, because this is correct, guys. A 911 phone call was made, and there's a bit of a discrepancy about what happened before that. Did they clean up the crime scene? Was there a crime scene? Why would they clean up the crime scene? Why does it look like that? What's missing? And why didn't we know about the blood?
Scratch your head, and why they don't just tell us. I'm just going to tell you the first glaring thing that happened early on in the case, and that would be the absence of the families, which we believe to be Annie, the 911 call to police, right? The initial one. The same reason holds true with a 911 call in an ongoing investigation, okay? They're not going to release that to protect the integrity of that investigation, because maybe the family said something that the authorities deemed crucial to keep under wraps. But there's also something that I learned about in the handling of 911 calls in an ongoing investigation, high profile investigations, I should add, that partial and redacted versions of the phone call being released actually does happen, which is why.
Guys, I want that 911 call. I want that 911 call so bad. When I saw the video, the name of this, I was like, did we get a... Now, of course, sometimes 911 calls won't come out ever, but I love this guy. Like, we're on the same page. He says, yes, releasing redacted or partial versions of 911 calls via audio with bleeps or mutes written into the transcript. Transcript is fairly common, though it depends heavily on the jurisdiction, the stage of the case, and the sensitivity. Guys, but the 911 call is important for us to hear. But maybe it's not important for us to hear. Maybe it's important for whoever's investigating this case to hear. All right? Because who was it? Was it Tommaso or Annie that called? What did they sound like? What did they say? Now, we just talked about this on Monday, and what we said on a Monday is we talked about, you're funny. What we said on Monday was usually people try to avoid 911 calls because they don't want to be locked down to a particular situation. But listen, here's the kerfuffle in this case. At the very beginning of the case, we heard that they called 911 and said their mom was kidnapped and she didn't walk away, etc., etc. Then we saw adult services going to that house, or we saw a message on the door from adult services, and we realized adult services for the first 24 to 48 hours, along with Sheriff County, Sheriff Pima County, Sheriff whatever, Nanos, both of them said that it was a walk-off and they were investigating this case as a silver alert type of thing and not a kidnapping. Make that make sense. It might make more sense. It might make way more sense if we're able to hear the 911 call. You got me laughing. I had to stop on that. All right, let's continue.
So many professionals and pundits, if you've seen them as well, have asked why nothing has been released other than that dispatch call.
Hey, my girl.
Safe alert is going to be authority from Pima County Sheriff's Office, last at Skyline Drive in Campbell. Occurred on yesterday's date at 12:15 hours. Subject last name of Guthrie, first of Nancy, date birth 1/27 of 1942, 84-year-old white female, 5'4", 150, brown and blue. Last name wearing unknown clothing description. Subject was not seen at church and family went to the residence, and subject was not at home. All personal belongings, including a 1021 and wallet and vehicle, were still there. Subject is nowhere to be found. Subject suffers from limited mobility and has medication scheduled to follow and needs daily. If located, check click 20 and contact Pima County Sheriff's Office. Again, last name at Skyline and Campbell in Tucson, and a safe alert at 12:35.
Now, I would think most of you guys know the Corey Richens case. Okay, it gained a lot of publicity, not as much as the Nancy Guthrie case, but it gained a lot of media attention as well. And that full 911 call was never released as well in her case.
I love this. I love Monk's intrigue, and I love that y'all love Monk's intrigue. You see how he works. You see what he's thinking here. Love it, love it, love it. They didn't treat this in the proper way. And you guys know the first 24 to 48 hours is the most sensitive time in a case like this. In my opinion, it will come out that Annie and our conspirators, and if you know what, Hammer Zippy, I'm thinking the same thing you are. I'm gonna leave that up there. Welcome in, Patricia. Nothing but love for you and prayers. My girl Marianka, hello, love you. Sorry I've been so busy. I haven't been able to reach out to anybody, but I'm here, and I'm still the same. I just don't have as much time.
Up until the trial this year in 2026. And just in case you didn't know, she was convicted of spiking her husband's drink, alcoholic drink called the Moscow Mule, with fentanyl, which killed him. And let's just put it this way, okay? If Corey Richens, is it Rikens? Corey Rikens or Richens?
It's Corey Richens, sir.
Things I should look up beforehand. Sorry. If her 911 call was released earlier, I think more people would have had to second guess her innocence even before her trial. Now, I had the honor of teaching Chris and Josh, when I got to be on the interview room, the term uncanny valley.
I love it. And I wanted to watch this whole thing with y'all, but it was like 4 hours and I couldn't decide which piece of it I wanted to play. Mabs in the house, finally got the green screen, and it's sweet. Well, hey, just let us know when you're going to be streaming again. All right. I know Patriot Pride is coming on at 6:30 tonight, I think.
That's basically when you look at something that is supposed to be human, but you just have this feeling that that is not human. Okay, so that is uncanny valley. Now, when you listen to Corey's 911 call, I would say that that is kind of the vocal version of uncanny valley.
Phone number in case we get disconnected. 435 671 4987. Okay, it's going to be in Francis. Okay, tell me exactly what happened. I don't know. I was sleeping with my kids. Okay, I can't understand you. I need you to take a deep breath. What's going on? I don't know. I was sleeping in with my kids. I just came in the bed, in our bed, and I turned over, and he's just cold. He's just cold. Who's cold? My husband. I keep the light on him. He's not breathing? He's not breathing? No. I need you to confirm it for me. Is he not breathing? No. Okay, can you do CPR?
No.
You don't know. I'm going to tell you how to. Are you willing to do CPR? Yeah.
She knows he's been dead for a while. She already went that route, guys. I kind of felt that porch guy was AI generated or planted. Well, let me tell you something, Hammer Zippy. I think the porch guy was neither, but it was absolutely staged AF. And yeah, this is not even the case we're covering, and she is evil to no extent. If you guys didn't watch this case, go back and watch this case. She is an evil lady. Damn, I didn't know how evil she was until that trial, guys. I had her pegged for not that bad.
Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
I will say, at least for me, when I heard it played in court, there was just something that didn't sound natural.
Exactly.
Something forced, a lot of whimpering, that's for sure. And there was just not enough panic for such a dire situation.
And that's going to probably come out in the Nancy Guthrie case at some point if we ever get to hear the 911 call.
Okay, so, and she even hesitated. She stalled to give her husband CPR. And in my opinion, the whimpering from Annie when she walked out with Tommaso and Savannah had a bit of the same ring to it for me. Now, if Annie's 911 call had a similar tone to that of the sounds that she made while walking down the driveway, then I guess I could say that, or maybe she had a similar tone to the Corey Richens call, then I can see where a lawyer would probably fight tooth and nail to make sure that 911 call is sealed up. Now, here's something else that I looked up, and I think we should all find it very interesting, okay? That releasing redacted versions, at least withholding some of the key stuff, is actually fairly common because in many jurisdictions, 911 calls are actually treated as public record. And before you ask, yes, Pima County does treat 911 calls exactly that way, as public record. So that should tell us authorities do believe that it could interfere with the case. Now, the next thing that I'm going to touch upon is bizarre. It's a glaring omission in a case such as this one.
And again, you guys got to remember what he's saying, a case like this one. We don't see cases like this one ever, really. I mean, this is we're calling this a kidnap case for ransom. And I don't think it's even that at all. Right? In the bushes, I think we're all surprised by her lack of human being. Her kids made me cry. She got some kind of personality disorder going. Yeah, now Corey Richins. Yeah, definitely. I just love the way he compared that because 911 calls are key in cases like this. Now, I know. Exactly, Cal Gal. Exactly. He's not going to.
And it's the sheer lack of any type of interviews with pertinent parties, such as Nancy's church group that made the call to Annie that morning. You know, early on, I was already picturing and awaiting these interviews, already picturing a news camera aimed at these ladies as they gave their stories of what happened that morning. But what happened? Did someone make them all sign a non-disclosure agreement? All right. Now, these ladies, I'm sure, are not hard to find, and I would imagine probably anxious to share their story if it could help find their friend, right? And I've mentioned this in a prior video, that there has been absolutely no one besides Savannah to give testimony on behalf of Annie and Tommaso, to share even a nice story, to even share a bad story. Just nothing. I mean, do they have absolutely no friends? No.
Yeah, it's wild that they're the ones there and they're hiding. Like, why hide? Why not use that as an opportunity to tell those YouTubers, hey, find my mom. Who cares? You can look at me all day. Go ahead, take pictures of me. You want to see my ass? I'll turn around and shake that shit for you, right? Let's take a shot together. Come out there, but find my mom, right? I wouldn't be hiding, though. That's the thing. Yeah, crickets. That makes you look very suspicious when you're the last person with the most to gain. All right? Oh, I missed you too, Cool and Chris. Big hugs, Clark, Crazy Jane's in the house. To be guilty, right? Fine. Yeah, go find my mom. I brought Ethot. I don't know how to say that. Ethot out of the bushes with that. It's not that they have to be guilty because of that, but find my mom. I don't give a shit what you're filming of me. Film me on the way in, on the way out. Shit, I'll do a handstand for you and a backflip. Just find my mom.
Acquaintances, or did that big bad NDA guy get to all of them? We're 100 days in, and that narrative still has not changed.
We're at 103 now, by the way.
Dare I say, is atypical. Okay, character assessments would be something that reporters are dying to gather. People that can build the characters in this case for them definitely are sought out by reporters. But in the Nancy Guthrie case, not a peep. So I found this parade interview, and it was done just a couple of...
And this is great because thus far, all we have is the clown, Sheriff Nanos clown, Barney Fife, clearing people that he's not able to clear. He's not even cleared. He was about to get his ass fired yesterday, guys, asking to cut budgets while he drives a $120,000 car and goes to the gym and basketball games instead of investigating and sharing info with the FBI. Come on. All right, let's get to this, man.
Weeks ago, and it had Brian Enton, and he said himself that family has asked close friends and acquaintances to keep things private for now. Now, I will say Brian is a reporter first and foremost. I mean, he's not there to stir the pot, so to speak, which makes him a trusted figure on both sides of the camera, right? But even he had to remark that this is not common by adding, which is different than other cases. How organized is this starting to feel to you? Now, while we're on the subject, we know that the police must have interviewed Annie and Tommaso,
Of course.
correct? Being as they are admittedly the last known people to see Nancy.
And the most to gain. Like, that's just basic, right? Like, I'm not going to be mad. All right. I'm not going to be mad if something like that happens and they start looking at me. Hey, we just got to clear you because you're the last person and you have the most to gain. Okay, let's go. I'm not going to go and get on a plane to Italy and then avoid everybody, right? Yeah, there's the scripted part. He isn't fired. That's the thing. He did not get fired. They made the decision to keep him and to push it over to Arizona to look at the charges of perjury.
Alive. Now, considering how many times the FBI and maybe even Pima County have visited their homes, I'm sure, many conversations have been had with them directly. Now, hopefully that initial interview when Nancy was first reported missing wasn't done in the same room, but it was handled by Pima County. So guess what? I am not too hopeful of that. If and when they release that affidavit, might actually hinge on if they place someone in handcuffs. Just imagine how fascinating those interviews will be for us.
Perfect. If you're clearing up rumors for us, Steve, thank you. All right. This guy is not a hack. He's thinking outside of the box. He's not just clearing people. So sorry about that, Steve-O. Have you been out there searching for Nancy Guthrie?
To read. However, a redacted version could be released if there are enough requests, coming into Pima County and they felt like it. Okay, so if you caught them on a good day and they just gave you a redacted version, wouldn't that be nice? Something that would further this process along possibly would be when Nanos gets ousted. The new sheriff might see things differently and allow it. But I also heard that the new sheriff would just be the underling of the old sheriff, and they might share the exact same values. Okay, class, with a show of hands, how many of you guys remember hearing that Nancy?
No, he called me a hack. That made me laugh. Bye, Steve. I hope you have a good evening. You don't sound too happy today. Sorry about your luck, my friend. Well, you're not really my friend. Screw you and don't come back. And if you do, you're going to have to create a new account. All right, let's continue. Bunch of dummies.
These church friends grew concerned when she didn't show up for their church meetup and called family. Okay. And this would happen at roughly 11 a.m. We're assuming that they are calling Annie, right? But 11 a.m. Now, who remembers that they didn't go over to Nancy's until 11:56? That's me. That's the story I initially heard. I fact-checked it left and right. And that's the story I kept getting, which was always a point of concern for myself. Who in the world doesn't immediately bolt out the door when you can't reach your elderly mother who lives alone? Now, there should be numerous missed phone calls on Nancy's phone as they are heading over to the house. Okay. But apparently they didn't get to the house until 11:56 a.m. That's at least 50 minutes of inaction. And this has always been troubling for a lot of us, right? But I imagine that it could be explained away as people just living their lives. They're not going about their day expecting the worst, right, to happen to their mom or their mother-in-law, okay? Maybe Nancy is known not to be attached to her cell phone at all times. So I actually never paid that 50-minute gap too much mind because there's too many possibilities that could be explained away by a couple that are at their house. Maybe Tommaso had a stomach ache and he couldn't go, but he really wanted to go with Eddie, whatever, right? So they arrive at the house 50 minutes later at 11:56. This is the story and timeline that.
Okay, this is the story in time like we've been following, and I love that he's like, hey, maybe hi Jay, Steve was the worst. It's all good, guys. As the channel grows, we're gonna get trolls here, and it's all good. Like today, it's all fun and games, but if you're in the middle of something really sad and someone pops up like that, I won't comment. I just wanted to get a laugh. It makes me laugh. All right, let's continue. Wish I could have gone to help. I know. I don't understand why there's not people physically searching. Clark, what Jay said. Bye, losers. They said not. This guy, Steve, that knows everything, says he didn't fly to Italy. All right, let's talk about and listen to what happened in those 51 minutes. Yeah, he does need a Snicker bar, doesn't he? Yeah, I like that. I'm going to get a sticker that says Steve sucks. Oh my goodness.
I heard. Okay. So they spend the next 7 minutes searching around the house and they do not like what they see. And they call the police at around 12:03. The police arrive at around 12:15. Solid. That's what I've always been led to believe. Now, if you remember that, then I'm not totally crazy by myself. Who here just watched the interview room live called Why the Delay on Mother's Day? Okay, where Chris and Karen had their sources confirm that Annie and Tommaso actually arrived shortly after the church friends called them. And that was around 11 a.m.
11 a.m., guys. And why does this keep changing? I have a feeling something's going to come out in this case and we're going to be like, man, we said this all the frick along. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, why is it that Sheriff Nanos is leading this clown show and at clearing people when we have a huge time gap, right? And it was reported incorrectly. I feel like Steve has been here before. Steve sucks. I'm gonna put that on my chest, a big sticker instead of my name is Jay. By the way, there's 444 people in chat. Say a prayer that Nancy Guthrie is brought home to her family. And I'm going to gift a membership right now. So hit the like button, guys. Drop a comment. And I'm going to gift the membership. If anyone wants to help towards a goal or to gift the membership, that'd be awesome. Let's go.
Which I tells you is a way more problematic timeline.
At first he said, kind of maybe around there, but then later on, and I clipped it. He says 11 a.m. the family gets there and they search for a little while before.
Search where?
And then they called 911.
Where'd they search?
So we chased that angle down and we confirmed it 1,000%. It's 11 a.m.
11 a.m., baby.
And so now we've been told that that's when the girlfriend's called. Well, it's actually before that. It's got to be.
I'm telling you guys, it keeps changing. What is this? Are we in some weird portal? I love that. You said, Patricia said, Steve just vanished like Nancy, right? It was like the UFOs just came and took him away. All right, I just gifted 5 memberships, guys. I hope that you got a membership if you liked it, all right? If you wanted a membership, I hope you got one, all right? If anyone wants to gift a membership or match, that would be awesome as well. All right, let's continue. Steve, you suck. All right.
Because they were on scene within that 4-mile radius to get to the house, like you're talking about, Bob, to look for mom. Okay. Now, could it be 11:01, 11:05, whatever? Yeah. Okay. It could be. All right. Just for the chat. But it is a minimum of potentially 56 to 63 minutes, right? Before the 911 call is made. And we just showed, that's a long time. That's a really long time to be looking for your mom and not calling 911 right away.
So
and not even saying that you went and did a search. They didn't say that. Now they neglected to say that there was blood on the porch. All right. Not only blood on the porch, but wasn't it weird? Would it be weird if you found your mother missing and you found some kind of weird, like, flower shrubbery dead on the porch with blood and then the back door's propped open? Or, I mean, because we never, ever, ever, ever heard Andy and Tommaso say that they went and searched for their mom for almost an hour before they called 911. As a matter of fact, we just kind of cut that part out and we changed the timeline to look like they were there for 4 minutes. They called 911 and then everybody came and stormed in and then they called Savannah. But no, she didn't even call Savannah for hours. Guys, come on. We can't be that dumb. We really can't be that programmed that because they change the timeline on us that we just don't remember that. Ha ha ha. JLR and Army and Searcher out there in Tucson Saturday. Some of the searchers live out there are doing good. Well, I hope so. I have my I have my thoughts about that, but let's continue. Love the little corgi in chat, by the way.
That 50 minutes was now at Nancy's house. That is a wild amount of time that the interview room panel tried to tackle. Another very interesting redaction is how Annie and Tommaso got into that house. And if you think about it, okay, the only method of getting into that house without immediately being alarmed, is through the garage. And even then, now we know that the back gates were propped open. And that's in view of them because those gates open outwardly.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't say anything about any of that. What they did tell Savannah was it wasn't one of those situations where she walked away. What do you mean? What? Peekaboo says Nancy's friends called as fast as Dr. Tepe's employees did. What did they know? Good question. But you know what they did know is that she didn't miss any time ever. Like, she wasn't going to not show up. So I don't know if I think maybe the friends just knew that she didn't walk well and she had bruises on her arms easily and her health was bad. Yes, 51 minutes to be exact. If you go back to the very beginning of this whole investigation, the timeline has changed. We've asked this over and over. What did they do in 51 minutes? Did they clean the crime scene? Did they go for a walk? Did they have a drink? Did Tommaso take a shit in the bathroom and wait for it to clear? What happened? Julie Bug. After getting a call from Nancy Church's friend, I would have called Savannah and yeah, we would have done stuff differently, but what were they doing in that 51 minutes? All right. Tommaso didn't have the bathroom spray. He couldn't spray it. So he had to wait for it to clear out before he called 911. And boy, did that take a long time. All right.
Okay. So even if they're going through the garage, that's in their line of sight. But we're going to say they just don't see it. And they're going to go in the house. But the moment they go into the house, right, they're entering the kitchen area. And that's where those back doors were propped wide open. Another source of concern that they cannot avoid. So one of them goes outside to see if she's there. The other one stays inside the house and is calling Nancy's name or calling mom, heading straight to her room. And you don't find her there. Okay.
Right.
You head back to the kitchen.
You know what I meant to do at the beginning of this, but I got distracted. I meant to say, okay, guys, we're going to time 51 minutes. All right. We're going to, at 51-minute mark, I'm going to tell you and pause it. That's how long it took for them to do what he's referring to right now. Now, guys, we're at 63 minutes, right? So 51 minutes, we could have baked a cake. We could have washed our car. We could have even done a small load of laundry and dried it. Maybe it was the delicates, right? I just need to get the wrinkle out, right? Maybe they made some pasta because when they were going to go to Italy that they didn't go to. I don't know. But what? Maybe they did the dude. Maybe the kids are always around. And they said, hey, we're going to use this house to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Played Monopoly, but 51 minutes, they didn't even talk about it. They didn't talk about going out and searching. And By the way, if you guys still don't know about the adult services card, the reason the adult services card was there was because they initially treated the Nancy Guthrie case like a walk away, like she had walked off or something like that, like a silver alert. All right. Hey, CJK, good to see you. I'm doing very well. I know. And big hugs to you, by the way. Hey, I can make you guys come out of the bushes real quick.
Where your spouse tells you that the back gates are propped open as well, and Nancy is nowhere to be found. Ladies and gentlemen, as long as it has taken me to tell you this little scenario is probably the same amount of time for Annie and Tommaso to realize that something is terribly wrong. And from what we can tell, this is not a 50-minute video thus far. We know that they're not taking this time to call family because that will come hours later. And I haven't even entered the main source of concern.
And this is why we come back to monks, right? Put a tomato in chat for guilt, right? And I'm not trying to, certainly not trying to mess with the family. I'm not going to go over there, right? We're not doing any of that, but we're just talking about 51 minutes. What did they do in the 51 minutes before calling? Maybe they played Twister and maybe their back gave out or they got a leg pain. I don't know. I was thinking this. I was thinking they tidied up, but you should never tidy up a crime scene ever. Well, unless you did it, right? Right. You guys are off the chain. Because you gave me all those tomatoes, I'm going to play another clip for you here in a minute. All right, let's get through it. I got to be an Uber driver in a bit.
Yet, the blood on the front porch. So what do you do for the next 45 minutes? Annie said that she called all the hospitals. And Tommaso, who looks pretty spry from this Mark the Shark clip, should be canvassing, more of the property as Annie is calling the hospitals. So let's say 20 minutes goes by to do all this. That still leaves 15
we don't know.
Minutes.
They're not talking.
And I could imagine Tommaso in those 20 minutes, he's going to be all around the property, most likely looking for an injured Nancy. Well, now he's going to see some busted floodlights. Maybe he'll notice the missing camera on the casita. But what about that front porch? He had to have come across that front porch, the missing Nest doorbell camera. At that point, there should be no more hoping that she had just wandered off or went to the hospital. You call the police right away. However, another 15 minutes is left on the clock.
Now, guys, we wouldn't be sitting here speculating had any one of them, let's just say Annie just came out in a statement and said, guys, I really don't want that. You guys come into my house. We're grieving for our mom. We're still looking for her. We don't know what happened. Yes, we dropped her off. Anything. A 3-sentence statement. But no, now we're here doing this. Why? Because everything that they say can and will be used against them. That's why. There had to be a complaint beforehand. They did take days to come out, baby bear. It's not that card wasn't there on day one. And if it was because they didn't want to get their ass handed to them about a silver alert. I read a whole article on that, and we talked about it in a prior episode. Tucson girls in the house. What's up?
Before that call is actually made. Okay? And that's
51 minutes, guys.
It's problematic. And I'm sure their initial interviews should clear this right up if we ever get our grubby paws on it. But as of now, whichever route we are going, okay, if we're going to the 11:56 angle as a time of their arrival, or the 11 a.m. one, as we've heard from the interview room.
Now, I'm going to go at the 11 a.m. one because all of my videos are also based on that. Where you just throw in a timeline and change it is only in the Twilight Zone. All right. Y'all have entered the Twilight Zone with me. All right. I know it's your strong opinion that the main guilty somehow, some way. The only thing I could really be sure of is that, in my opinion, is that Nancy Guthrie is missing. Nancy Guthrie hasn't come home in 103 days. Nancy Guthrie was 83 years old. That's the only thing I can really be sure of. I don't know who did what, but I can look at with an investigative mind, look at who benefits the most, who's acting weird. Why didn't they call 911? What did they do in 51 minutes while waiting to call 911? Right? All right. After this, we're getting into pure speculation. And I say that because there's no receipts for this. And maybe there are. Maybe you guys can come out and tell me, there's these YouTubers out there that are making claims. These YouTubers that are in the area of Tucson that are out there messing with the family and searching, what have you. They're making allegations that we haven't heard of through sources that they can't tell us. All right, so we're going to get into that right after this.
Both are very troublesome. A bit too casual because of the amount of time that has gone by.
Hey, Rhonda.
When you can't reach your 84-year-old mom, who should be somewhere, right? She should be at a place that she went to every Sunday, and she is not there. It almost feels like Nancy's church friends were more concerned about her, to me at least, than A&T. Then, of course, you have to deal with the phantom cars, the phantom routes, which I am almost definite.
And this is why I just love him so much. The phantom routes. Sorry, I was trying to say this is a homicide, or did she maybe wander off? Because he says both. Well, yeah, that did happen. They talked about her wandering off, but then they said, no, she couldn't have wandered off because she can't wander off. She can't even make it to the mailbox most days. Now, FBI, yeah, they don't do gag orders, but I don't think there's a gag order on anything, but we have Sheriff the Clown Nanos in charge of this. So we get what we get. All right. We get timelines that change, statements that are just full out lies. I just showed you at the beginning of this episode a full out lie from Barney Fife. Joanne, thank you so much for the $9.99. I do appreciate you. All right, let's continue. Yeah, he is the man. I agree.
That Pima County and the FBI 100% knows by cell phone triangulation alone every route home and back by Nancy. Okay. Now, why we're not allowed to know the route that Nancy was taking
Lord
back home that night by Tommaso is a bit puzzling, because that shouldn't be vital information that only the culprit knows.
Yeah.
That the kidnapper wouldn't be involved in that aspect of the story, right? Okay, not vital information is what I'm trying to say, which leaves us armchair and lawn chair detectives to wonder why this is not released. Okay,
and what have they been doing? Watching from England. Welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Earlier, Steve called us a hack over here. Steve, you suck. I hope you're still watching. All right, let's continue. Oh, man. Love it.
We start thinking things like, was the route Nancy took home so off the beaten path that it would definitely look suspicious? Okay, so Pima County. Okay, if you just tell us the route that Tommaso took Nancy home, because there are several to choose from when you Google that path, then it would actually alleviate a lot of speculation.
Sometimes.
And isn't that a good thing? Isn't that what Sheriff Nanos wants? If he did take her home on the most practical route, then there's nothing to hide. And authorities can even say, based on Nancy's cell tower triangulation, that they know for certain that her cell phone got home. And since it never disconnected from her pacemaker, which should not be disconnected from Nancy, then we know that Nancy got home that night, just like Tommaso said. And that would debunk so many theories.
It would debunk so many theories, but I wonder what Nanos is hiding besides, his perjury and such. Why is it that he is handling this the way he is and shielding the family. Now, we have two people that are heavily shielding the family without any clearing. There's no clearing of anyone. Number one is Sheriff Nanos, and number two, Jen Coffendorfer has really been like an advocate for those two, and I don't know how. When you share, who do you share to? Google, YouTube? I'm not good at this. Like, share, and subscribe. And just share with your friends. Share in a text message. Also, the lady asked Nanos which family member made the 911 call. Has answered, don't know. Bullshit. He knows exactly who. You're absolutely right. Yep. Right from the get-go, I said gambling debts. He said honk honk. All right, let's continue. Gotta love YouTube.
Especially the one that suggests that Nancy never got home that night. Okay, but they haven't thought to do this, leading us to believe that this route actually affects the integrity of the case. Now, I'm just going to leave this here, and I'm actually hoping to read some very fascinating essays, as well as more things that you guys can add that you guys have been concerned about that the authorities just have not released yet. And hey, sorry to give you homework, but it's fun homework, right? So for everybody that appreciates the Zodiac, part 4 should be coming very soon. And now go protect the one.
You love him. Go protect the ones you love and go submit your essays to Monk's comments. Critical thinker. We love Monk over here. Exploring with Jim is the name of the guy that's out. There's more people than just Jim, but yeah, I don't know who you, maybe somebody asked that, but I'm gonna bring us to bed crime stories. She put a really good compilation together about JLR, and JLR investigates. And does he have receipts for his incendiary claim? I don't even know how to say that. How do you pronounce that? Incendiary, which is, it's meant to stir outrage is what she's saying. All right. Does JLR have receipts for these outrageous claims? Now, we know he's over there. We know he talks about his sources. So let's get into this. This is also going to point right at the two people that we've been pointing at the whole time, allegedly from inside sources, guys.
And somebody's going to get sued in the case of Nancy Guthrie. Somebody has been making some pretty outrageous claims on X. I'm not seeing the word allegedly with those claims. I'm also not seeing any evidence to prove the claims. Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, Savannah Guthrie and Tommaso Cioni. JLR is saying that their house was crime scene. He is saying that Pima County Sheriff's Office will not release any information related to that because it is an active and ongoing investigation. Now, I'm thinking he's probably saying that it's a crime scene or was a crime scene because we know that crime scene investigators did go in.
Oh my God, he looks like the devil's reject. Have you guys seen that movie, House of a Thousand Corpses? Anyway, incendiary. Thank you. I said it earlier. Incendiary. Yeah, I got it earlier, but when I said it out loud, I was like, what? House of a Thousand Corpses? Anybody? Cool, and Chris knows who I'm talking about. 110%. He looks like House of a Thousand Corpses, which is also a clown that plays a clown. You guys remember? I can't even think of his name right now. The actor already died, but anyway, Captain Howdy. All right, let's continue.
Into that house, which is, I believe, about 6 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's house. Investigators were seen taking photos, possibly testing with luminol. Now, because of the mere fact that that happened, that might be what JLR is talking about. But I feel like the language he is using is designed to make people think that a crime went.
No, JLR is not being sued. I think you only caught one little sentence of what Bed Crime Stories is saying. Now, the reason she's saying that is because there was a statement given out by the Guthrie family or Savannah, something to that effect, like they're going to start suing people if if they're going to keep on pointing fingers at the family and making these outrageous statements, then they're going to be sued. All right. So that's all she's saying is that JLR is making these claims about them. Will he be sued? But we're still talking about the claims he's making from his inside sources. JLR got his way on White Boy Radio today. He lied, of course. I didn't know that. I knew nothing about that. Yes, Devil's Rejects. Yes, that's your high school days? Damn, that was my first date with Mrs. Guilty. All right. First date with Mrs. Guilty. It was the Devil's Rejects. I said, you want to go out on a date? Not really, but hey, let's go out. Let's go see a horror movie. And we went and saw Devil's Rejects, and we've been together ever since. It's been almost 21 years. Incendiary. Thank you, Matt. Let's continue. Incendiary or outrageous, meaning to stir the pot type of statements. Thank you.
Down in Annie and Tommaso's house. We know that their car was processed by crime scene investigators, and we know that their house was also looked at. But we also know that Nancy Guthrie spent the last few hours of her life, possibly, because I personally believe she's likely deceased, with her daughter, Annie, and with Tommaso at their home. She had dinner over there. So we know that law enforcement is always going.
And you guys, is anyone against this? I put a 1 in chat if you guys saw this happening in real time and you were like, what? Why are they almost holding up Tommaso and go like just bawling, but then we see nothing else? Do you think they were over dramatic in this? Put a 1 in chat if you think they're over dramatic. All right, let's continue. I think it's above and beyond.
To look at people close to the victim. They're going to start with the family, going to especially focus on the people who last saw Nancy alive. And those might be the only reasons why they process the house and they process their car. Sheriff Nanos has come out to say that both of those people, Annie and Tommaso, have been cleared.
Nope.
But we've also heard other people in law enforcement say that it is not the sheriff's job or right to say who's been cleared, who hasn't been cleared.
Yep.
That would be up to ultimately the district attorney. JLR has also reported in the last few days that Annie Guthrie asked her mother, Nancy, for a loan sometime before Nancy's disappearance. However, JLR has not substantiated.
Did you see how angry we just made somebody? Damn, we did some anger. I look like a washed out rock star, guys. Well, guess what? I can't see without my glasses, but I must have pissed Steve off. Steve, you suck. Is anybody mad that I'm a washed out rock star lesbian? Let's continue. I wish I wouldn't have posted that up. I didn't mean to post that up, but Steve, you suck. Oh man, you're probably you're in the closet. Come out of the closet. Come on, buddy. Steve sucks. Big donkey dick.
That information. He has not shown the receipts. JLR claims that a source close to the family told him this. You know, I suppose any person putting out podcast or a YouTube video can claim sources close to the investigation told me XYZ. Sources close to the family told me XYZ. How do we really know when those sources are not sharing their names? Do you guys think this is a ploy by JLR to get more views, to get more subscribers? I feel like there are established reporters who can get away with saying, oh, I have sources close to the investigation. Those would be reporters perhaps who work on News Nation, people that we know who have studied journalism, who abide by the rules of journalism. I think that calling Annie and Tommaso's home a crime scene is not exactly accurate.
I think all trolls are going to be Steve from now on. I think this lady might know Steve. I mean, bed crime stories, she might know Steve. Hashtag Steve sucks. Everybody that's a troll is Steve from now on, all right? Fuck you, Steve. All right, let's get to. I love pissing people off when I literally didn't do anything wrong to anybody. I'm just here doing true crime. Oh my goodness.
I feel like they processed it to see if there was any evidence. That does not mean that it was indeed a crime scene. And I think if you're going to come out and say
Yep,
that a certain
exactly,
location is a
Tucson.
crime scene, you need to back it up. Otherwise, you need to use the word allegedly. They were analyzing it just in case. They were doing their due diligence. I know there are a lot of people who still cling to the idea that Tommaso Cioni could somehow be involved in this. And a lot of that started because initially Ashley Banfield was saying that a source close to the investigation told her that their top suspect was Tommaso Cioni. And of course, the sheriff came out, a sheriff that I don't think anybody trusts anymore. And he said, no, all the family members have been cleared. But then I have heard retired law enforcement people on YouTube. Also, I heard Dr. Brucato, a forensic psychologist, say that they believe whoever did this is local to Tucson, and it is likely somebody who is somehow connected to Nancy Guthrie. Now, it could be a family member, which is what I think some retired law enforcement people.
Now, I just think it's in that circle, guys. And yeah, Stevie making dinner, but Steve sucks. I got you guys out of the bushes to say that. Steve used to be a girl, and now he's mad because it's only this big, guys. It's only this big. It sucks. Don't be mad. I know it's Steve that came back, because you know why Steve came back? Because I blocked the other one, and he was really mad because we were all saying, fuck you, Steve. So he made another account, and he thought if he called me a washed out lesbian rock star, whatever, I'd get my feelings hurt. Well, listen, Steve, you really should buy one of my books. Reason 111 why I'm gay, right? It'll give you all of it. And I might even take my glasses off for you if you're nice. All right? There you go. You buy my book and you'll know all about 112 reasons why. Yeah, I guess it's just small pee-pee syndrome, right? Yeah, all right, we'll keep going.
Seem to think. That's just my feeling. I always get the feeling that Chris McDonough of the interview room seems to be gunning for a family member. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. It's all in how I'm interpreting what he says. Dr. Brucato has said that he's not naming names or anything, but he believes it is somebody who has some connection to Nancy. And he said it could be a minor connection. But he also threw it out there that this crime could have been staged to look like an abduction. And part of that staging would have been propping the back doors of Nancy's house open. Whoever did that would have had to have had access, obviously. And I'm still confused because I have seen early reports that there were signs of somebody breaking and entering the home. But then I've also read that there were no signs of obvious break-in. So I'm not really sure which one it is. We've also heard that the inside of the house looked immaculate. There was nothing out of place. But then Ashley Banfield said she has a source that said that there was blood inside on the area right before the front.
Yeah, you know, I'm a little bit on the fence about what evidence was inside of the house. And that's only because they keep talking about this DNA, right? And they keep talking about it comes down to one strand of hair. But how is that? Yeah, Steve, you should hug a cactus. All right. They get mad. Don't worry. They get mad when we block them. They got to spend time making a whole new account, and then it really comes out. So listen, we just heard Sheriff Nanos at the top of the hour telling all of us that there's information that they're holding back because they just frankly don't want the public to know. But I don't know if he's doing that because what the article we read where he got angry for them sharing information with the FBI because it was making them have more work. Okay, that's what they're saying. One little hair without even a root. Yeah, don't be a Steve. We're totally gonna, from now on, all trolls are Steve. I know, Lil Red, exactly. And we can't. We're only just speculating. One doll hair. Oh yeah, Mr. Two Speed. Just like one out of every lesbian has no pee-pee syndrome. Look at that, Two Speed. That is funny. You guys, if you're gonna come at me with harder. You didn't even spell lesbian right. Come on, bro. I don't want a pee-pee. I don't need a pee-pee. Bye, Steve. Dude, Steve is pissed tonight, isn't he? Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't worry. They're not going to come back unless they come with a new account. All right, let's continue. Lesbian. Yes, I'm a lesbian. Get it right. Nah, it's just a bunch of weirdo. Oh my goodness. Sharon's in the house. Sharon, are you here, Clark, too? Sharon, we just got rid of Steve. You rolled through at the perfect time. Huge hug to you, my girl. That's my Leo twin. I hadn't talked to her since February, and myself, and Clark were very worried about you. Anyway, I'll get to you after this. No more Steves. Steve and his micro penis. It's only like that big with a tiny little, you might as well have a clit, dude.
Door. And of course, we know that Nancy Guthrie's blood was found on the porch outside that door. I think Tommaso Cioni has a very distinctive gait. However, I don't think his gait 100% looks like Porch Guy. Porch Guy has a distinct gait as well, but the real difference I see between Porch Guy and Tommaso Cioni holds his shoulders up kind of high, and I did not notice that with Porch Guy. I also think that Tommaso Cioni has a lot of facial hair. I don't see Porch Guy having a full...
Steve's a lesbian. That's why he's mad, because he's a lesbian, Jinx. He didn't get to all the way finish that surgery, and he got stuck with the Vienna sausage. Damn it. That Vienna sausage might go good with those raviolis there, Mr. Steve. I'm in a funny mood today. Tomorrow's Friday. You guys know how we do. I have a sense of humor, and I think that's why you guys come back day after day. We're doing true crime here, right? We're sitting there talking about people that are no longer with us, abused children. You can't take yourself too seriously. And even Steve, I'm not even going to take Steve seriously. If he thinks hurting my feelings is calling me a lesbian, I wrote a whole book about me being a lesbian. Do better. And I spelled lesbian with the correct letters, not lesbian. So if you think that hurts my feelings, then look at all my hundreds of pages that I talk about myself. Stupid ass. Yeah, Tommy Ravioli. Steve's in the closet. Come out of the closet, buddy. Oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. All of you. Marianka came. Sharon came. What's up, ladies?
Beard. I know he has facial hair, or had it at the time of the crime, but to me, it didn't look like he had a full beard under there. I also don't think that the eyebrows match. Tommaso Cioni has bushy eyebrows. Porch Guy seems to have thin eyebrows. So what do you guys think? Do you think JLR has some inside info and that Tommaso and Annie's house really was a crime scene? Which to me says a crime went down in that house. If you're going to make that statement, that is basically what you're saying. Or do you think that JLR is trying to make it look like it was a crime scene simply because crime scene investigators did go into that house, they took photos, they took control of the space, they processed it for evidence, potential evidence. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Well, here's the interesting thing about when JLR covers a case, people seem to take his coverage as much as the news, right? And even the news, when the news needs JLR, they'll pull him on there. I've seen him be on Court TV and other channels, right? When they need to have him be taken seriously and they need to have him be a news source, he is. But when they don't want him to be a news source, they ask him, where's your proof? So I'm not either way. I don't even really, honestly, guys, give two shits about what JLR and Magnolia did. I'm not a fan of anybody, either or. All right. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not going to cover it on my channel. So I really, whatever it is, pull him down, lock him up, whatever, but they use him when they need to, and then they call him names when they don't. So which one is it? About the car lot guy, right? That's true.
Call me jaded, but I do not believe this. And I do feel a tad concerned for JLR, even though he doesn't seem concerned. I think maybe he should be using the word allegedly, but then again, when you put the word allegedly with the house was a crime scene, it takes away a lot of the drama and the hype, and maybe even the clickability of the title. I'm also noticing that places like the Daily Mail, I have found a number of articles on there that have titles that make you think they're going to tell you something really important, make a statement, you read the article, and you find out they didn't say anything about what was in the title. So even the Daily Mail, which is actually a really good source, they cover true crime very, very well, but even they use clickbait. And in fact, I pointed it out to them on one video, and I can't remember what the video was.
Now I try not to. You guys know the deal here. Like I really try not to do clickbait. Imagine asking for a beating just to get some views, right? Yeah, I try not to do that. Nancy Guthrie, I ask you, what did they do in 51 minutes before calling 911? And Nanos will remain as a sheriff. Yeah, sometimes we get out of taste. Sometimes a title will be out of taste or whatever, right? Well, lady, it's clickbait, right? Dude, this is the worst case for clickbait, guys. And you know what? Fuck you, Steve. All right, let's wrap this up because I got to be an Uber driver for Baby Guilty. Now, Patricia, if you're still here, I'm sending you an email, and everyone else, Sharon, I hope I can talk to you on the phone. I want to give you a call after I drop off Baby Guilty, if that's okay. Steve is clickbait. Steve is getting castigated. Yes. Well, Foxy, wait, what happened to Foxy? She's still here, but she's doing something. She's been busy. They've all been busy lately. All the mods. They don't love me anymore. Nah, she's a mod still. I think she's doing something today. Where are you, Foxy?
Was about. They deleted my comment. So I acted naughty and I typed it again just to see, and they deleted it again. It's definitely tempting to use that type of vernacular to get people to click. Because after all, when we make videos, we want people to listen to them and watch them. That's the whole point. We feel passionate about something we want to share. I'm going to shut up now. And you guys, just let me know what you think in the comments. I hope that you're having a great weekend so far. Love you guys, and I will see you next time.
All right. And that book is not because let's pull this off for a second. Thank you, Golden Hen. You guys know the deal. Yeah, I checked out where she is. Sharon, I think she's teaching. The mods have been super busy lately. I'm here for some mod drama. Well, it was just, it was literally just Steve today. But really, we're here to find out and talk about and keep Nancy Guthrie's name in this. Yeah, Foxy's kicking Steve's ass right now. You got to come here and break up the monotony of this. It's not that bad. It doesn't have to be that heavy. But what I wanted to say is that if you guys want to drop the link in chat, this book has nothing to do if it doesn't, you don't buy it because you're gay. It's because I'm gay and my reasoning. And if you have a daughter, a sister, a cousin, and you want to know more about what and why, and you got all those weird questions. You know how many times people meet me for the first time and say, Jay, I have a question for you, but I don't want to offend you. Every question that's been asked to me is in this book. All right. All right. Karina Valenzuela watching from Tucson. Thank you, Cool and Chris. I'm an artist, graphic artist, tattoo artist. I like art. So that's my thing. Wyatt, where have you been, my guy? I thought you didn't love us anymore. All right. Where have you been? Please come back tomorrow, Friday, at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yes, Trotter daughter. Find Nancy. Hashtag find Nancy. Hashtag Steve sucks. Oh, I have a real job. Ooh. Wait, at least you have a real job too. Yeah, I have a real job. I've been working my job for almost 19 years in October. A real job. Thank you so much, Golden Hen. You rock. I appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. All right, guys, I gotta go overachieve now, like No Shoot Vaccine said. I gotta be a washed out, overachieving rock star. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you all. Fuck you, Steve. Bye, guys. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty